Hi. Corpse Husband's a person that a lot of people talk about because a lot of people know him because he's quite popular. That's how humans word things. He's a YouTuber, a gamer, and a person who commentates about different horror things, spooky things, and he's built a very popular YouTube channel. And over the past year, as many people know, through games of Among Us mainly, he has built his platform to a massive level, to the point where now he has a huge fandom that's actually very active on social media. But another thing that's fascinating about him is that he makes music. And I'm very interested in that because I like music. I make music. And specifically, Corpse Husband raps, which is something that I think is really cool. I think hip hop is something that is a beautiful art form. And it's something that I've learned quite a bit about over my time on this earth, on this mortal coil, if you will. So I had heard some of Corpse's songs before, but I've never really listened with intent, like listened properly and given a thoughtful response. And if I give an opinion that comes off rude at all, I hope you know that I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way. I just want to respectfully sort of listen and give my thoughts. And I don't know, man. I'm not like a super powerful music critic. I'm not somebody with amazing music taste. I'm just a person, and I feel like when we talk about Corpse's music and when we talk about Corpse as a persona, um, we talk about some of the obvious factors like his voice, which is very deep and which I'll be paying a lot of attention to in terms of how it's mixed in the music. But we don't really get a chance to talk about just like whether or not the music is legitimately good, if that's a thing, which, spoiler alert, is a subjective thing and therefore very hard to call. So I think we should just have a conversation on whether or not the music has merit, whether or not there's something cool that we can take away from it, aside from the fact that Corpse is a cool dude who makes music. That's my long preamble, and now I listen to the music. I will listen to 5 songs today, and then as the footage is cut through and sped through, you'll see me at the end give my thoughts on what I'm hearing and what I'm liking. Let's try and start by listening to the song E-Girls Are Ruining My Life featuring Savage Gasp. Now, I'm not sure who Savage Gasp is. It's also quite a fascinating stage name. E-Girls Are Ruining My Life, I think, is his most popular record, and I am pretty sure I know what this one is. So I'm gonna listen to it, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts on how he's rapping and stuff. As if that was not clear before. Here we go. It's time that we talk about something called polysyllabic rhyme schemes. So rappers, they rhyme, right? That's kind of the big thing about rap music is that it has rhymes, usually. In rap music, however, there's different ways to rhyme, just like in any type of written form of rhyme, poetry, etc. There's slant rhymes, there's end rhymes, etc., etc. And within rhymes, there are more and more complicated ways in which you can rhyme by rhyming more syllables together or by rhyming the syllables at different parts of the line. When we rhyme more than one syllable together, we call that polysyllabic rhyme schemes, so 2 or more. So instead of rhyming car with tar, I might rhyme with car exhaust pipe with yards of lost might. That's all I got. What you'll notice about the chorus of E-Girls Are Ruining My Life is that he says, choke me like you hate me, but you love me, low-key wanna date me when you truck me. And I think it's really interesting because that's a really catchy, simplistic, and yet complex rhyme scheme. You have basically 4 different syllables that are being rhymed, or well, 6 syllables, but a lot of them are me, which is cool because the other syllables are different. You have choke me rhyming with low key. You have hate me with date me, and you have love me with puck me. And they're rhymed in such a way where there's very little space in between that's not rhyming. Basically, the entire line rhymes. And I think that that's really cool. If you want to listen to more people that do polysyllabic rhyme schemes that are really complicated, some of the legends are people like MF Doom, of course, rest in peace. But you also have a lot of underground West Coast rappers that rap in that way. If you listen to, old school like Project Blow, AC Alone, If you listen to even like more contemporary rappers, like Kendrick Lamar very rarely just uses end rhyme. He uses a lot of polysyllabic rhyme schemes as well. Now, I'm not comparing Corpse Husband to Kendrick Lamar. They're entirely different as MCs, nor am I comparing Corpse Husband to MF Doom. But it's interesting that he's using a technique that other respected MCs use, and it's interesting that he's doing it in a way that, talks about, sex, and talks about something kind of funny and frivolous and dark, which is, of course, there's a lot of darkness in the kind of aesthetic and music that he likes. So I think that that's cool, because everybody has to find a way to use these techniques in rap music, not only to just show off that they're good at techniques, but also to establish something unique about themselves. And I think Corpse obviously has a very unique voice, but he's also using different hip hop stylizations, different punchlines that are pretty memorable, and rhyme scheme styles that are memorable to accentuate and add some flair and some skill to this already very interesting setup that he has with his voice and his style. And that makes the music more compelling. So that's cool. And I like the song. I think the beat is hard. And I look forward to hearing the next song. We're going to listen to White Tea by Corpse. I am, not you. Just me.
I spill one all on my white tea. Bitches like me.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So that's White Tea. So White Tea is really interesting because it slows down from the tempo of E-Girls Are Ruining My Life. It's a bit of an older song as well. But Corpse is really leaning again into that voice and into that style. He likes a dark, heavy beat that uses really distorted 808s. What's an 808, do you say? So an 808 is a bass instrument. It gets its name from the Roland TR-808 synthesizer, which was a very popular synthesizer from decades ago that had these bass instruments that were somewhat of a mix between a kick drum, an electronic kick drum, of course, and an 808, and a bass, an elongated bass note. So what you get is a boom, and those can be short, they can be long, they can be distorted, they can have more mid, they can have less mid. People have found a lot of different ways to make 808s sound different ways, but one of the most popular ways is to distort the 808 so that it clips, or it sounds like it clips within the mix, and so it's very heavy and very loud and very abrasive. Almost the same way that rock music has been with its bass and with its guitars over the years, because the distortion, of course, is what people use on the pedal for guitars as well. Exactly. I'm a professional guitarist. So with that being said, I think that this song is a little bit less interesting to me than the previous one, which I think, I think E-Girls really hits on this style more. I think Corpse has found himself a little bit more over time with that song. But I also think that Corpse is doing things that are comfortable for him but are still catchy, not trying to overdo it. He's talking about romance, he's talking about, getting with girls, using girls using him, etc., etc., and using these phrases and this phraseology, I should say, to be properly dorky. This phraseology and these lines that are catchy and memorable and like kind of funny or kind of whimsical or kind of, sassy and whatnot. And I think it really works for him. If you're interested in the style of music that Corpse is doing, you might want to listen to somebody like Suicide Boys, or you might want to listen to an artist like Xavier Wolf. These artists have been doing this kind of distorted 808, layered, heavy, dark vocal, abrasive content, violent or romantic or both, or drug, there's a lot of heavy content in the lyrics and a lot of heaviness in the mix and the sound of the song, and these really dark distorted 808s and these dark sounds and the ominous nature, all of that you can listen to in those kinds of artists. And I think if you like Corpse's music, you'll like them. Maybe I'll make a playlist for you guys. If you're interested, I'll make a playlist of artists that you might like if you like Corpse Husband. Let me know in the comments below. Let's move forward and listen to another Corpse Husband song. This one's called Never Satisfied. Wow. I think that's my favorite one so far. It reminds me a lot of nu metal rock records and there's not really like any clean singing in the way that like post-hardcore or like new metal songs will have. What I like about it is the dynamics of it. There's a screamed vocal, which I don't know if that's him, but I was super surprised to hear it. And if that's him, I'm shocked because it's such a far cry from his normal voice. Like the growl is so harsh. It's like a shrieky growl, which you would think is probably really hard on his voice if he's like really like stuck at that bass semitone naturally. Good lord, what is the noise? What is the noise? Okay. I'm gonna die. Somebody's gonna come get me. I'm gonna die today. Death is coming for my soul. I also like that the lyrical themes are complex and dark. I like that he's talking about things that he doesn't like in himself, but it's also kind of like a brag. Like he's never satisfied. He wants more. There's like a lot of a combination of like bragging and like abrasive, cockiness, but also like a dark reflection on oneself. And it's a complicated theme, which I think is really cool. I really enjoy listening to music where the themes are a little bit more complicated and you dig out your own meaning from it. So I think this is my favorite so far. I think Never Satisfied is really cool. I even like how the drums are programmed. I like how instead of like going with a more contemporary like 808 clap sort of sound like in the other two songs, this particular snare is like very harsh and almost sounds like an electronic drum snare that's like extra distorted, like a psh instead of a k. That's how I come up with things. I just make mouth noises, All right, let's listen to two more since I said 5. Let's listen to Cabin Fever featuring Cabin Fever produced by Night Grind. This is from 11 months ago. It's his second least listened song, but it's 6 million views, so that's not saying a lot. Least viewed. Words are things.
Think you problem solver, well they fucking roll the dice. Feeling pretty bent up when I'm swerving through.
It's really good screaming, particularly for like this genre. This one is shorter. It's a little bit more of like a freestyle. He's just writing some thoughts, some lines down, and rapping them, akin to how Drake may do on a song like Lemon Pepper Freestyle that came out. Completely different style of rapping and style of music, but a similar concept. You just write verses. You write a verse and then you rap it. There's no concern for song structure, for a hook, for a bridge. It's just I'm rapping over a beat. One thing that I think Corpse can work on is sort of finding more variety with his flows. Not necessarily that only having one flow is like the worst thing. There are some artists that are amazing in hip hop that basically only use 1 or 2 flows over and over again, but it's very, very difficult to find that. I think when Corpse finds new ways to sort of, like in E-Girls Are Ruining My Life, blend some technicality in his rapping, whether it's using more complex rhyme schemes or like sometimes rapping faster can be a cool way to change things up, even though rapping faster doesn't necessarily mean rapping better. But yeah, changing flows and maybe even changing subject matter sometimes, but I don't necessarily think so. I think his subject matter is diverse. I think it's strong. I think it's dark. And yeah, I'm noticing a lot of similar instrumentals, heavy distorted 808, heavy distorted drums, dark synthly, that kind of thing. That almost sounded like Raph by A$AP Rocky, so that would be a different sound. But yeah, you kind of get what I feel like. It's like these very slow arpeggiated, almost like a horror movie background music, but like tuned into a 404, like put into like a fucking trap beat. Trap is a very loaded word for many reasons, but that's what the kids call it, a trap beat. So I would say, this is not necessarily my favorite record from him. It's a little bit more just like he was just dumping some stuff out, and I don't feel like the rapping itself was that compelling for me because he's not using that much variety and idea in it. But I also think it's really cool, first of all, the dynamic when he starts screaming in between the dynamic when he's like low growling or like doing his regular, low voice. Fascinating. I think it's all very cool. So I'm going to listen to one more song now, and the song I'm going to listen to is his most recent one, Agoraphobic, which I know is of a different style, and so I want to comment on how he raps in this particular style and give my thoughts on it.
I can't do shit right, I can't learn my lesson. I can't do shit right again.
Okay, that's Agoraphobic. I got a little bit of chills from that, to be honest with you, because of how raw it is and how, dark the themes are, obviously. I think Corpse is very open and honest about expressing his emotions, even when they're very dark and painful. He's actually very compelled by writing about the things that are dark and painful in his life and in life in general, which I think is great. And I think more of that can be a great thing because it could be a really cathartic thing for him and for a lot of people who listen. I know a lot of people who are fans of his music can really be touched by that. The instrumental of this song was really cool. It reminds me of a lot of like new lo-fi stuff, but it wasn't quite super lo-fi because those drums were cutting through in like a more treble-y way. A treble is the light high part of the mix, as opposed to the bass, which is and the mid, which is Here he is, a scientist of audio. I think that the way he's writing is very strong as well. I think that the rhymes, again, he's bringing back a bit more polysyllabic rhyme schemes. Hiding me, driving me, strive to be, privacy, good rhyme scheme. A rhyme scheme that, it's something about a more complicated rhyme scheme that kind of hits different. I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. It's poetic in a way, right? Sometimes I feel like Corpse in his writing might lean a bit too much on cursing. Not that it's bad to curse a lot, but sometimes it feels like there didn't need to be a curse there, and it kind of makes the rhyme less interesting, or makes the line a bit less interesting because it feels like sometimes the curses are put in to keep a particular flow when maybe the flow can break up or fly into different modes. Somebody who's really great at flowing obviously is Notorious B.I.G. And Biggie was a dude who would change the cadence of what he was doing, change the rhythm of what he was doing all the time, but still fluidly move into the next thing as if it was just meant to be there. Yeah, right. It the head right. Biggie there. Hey, night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules, never lose. But like, he didn't care at all about maintaining the same cadence. I think Corpse is on the other end of the spectrum where he's more interested in keeping the same cadence. Can't do the shit right. Can't learn my lesson. I can't do right. Take antidepressants, right? And that's very cool because that's his own kind of style. But for this particular type of beat, I think something that was a bit more fluid, a la somebody like Biggie, a la somebody like Royce the 5'9". Obviously I'm not asking you to rap like Royce the 5'9", but to kind of pick up some of those notes, those tips of like how he kind of switches between different cadences while keeping the flow and a particular type of swing and a fluidness. I think that's one thing that would be strong for Corpse in songs like this because they allow you to feel the music a little bit better. You can feel the swing a little bit better when you're rhyming with less rigidity. So less rigidity in Corpse's rapping would help him on beats like this. But overall, I think this is one of my favorites. The melodies are cool. I like that he leaves in these little moments where he's talking about like himself in the studio, like, oh, this is the last falsetto note, like whatever. This shit is, he says this is difficult. He says it's difficult at the end, which could be referring to a number of things. I know it's really difficult probably for him to sing with the condition that he has with his voice. And that fact makes it more noble and makes it more compelling and more, heart-wrenching in a way to listen to his music when he's doing these things. Because it's like, man, I know how that's probably taking a toll on you. It's probably hurting. And it makes it feel more sincere. And it makes you want to listen again, frankly, because you want to hear those notes. You want to hear him go for it. You want to hear it, and you don't want to hear him hurt his voice. But it's interesting to hear somebody who is potentially hurting their voice, but just wants to get this out. Just wants to let that note out. Wants to, sing. Wants to do this particular thing with his voice. And it works. That those notes in the bridge, where the beat gets really quiet because the drums drop out, and he just does the ooh. Like, it's cool. Like, I like that. I like the melody. Beats like this, songs like this, and in general, a little bit of melody would never hurt anybody. So with that being said, my stomach is growling, meaning it's time to get lunch. But it was really a pleasure and an honor to speak with you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Are you okay? Let's take a deep breath together. If you're not okay, stop what you're doing. Just pause for a minute. This will only take like 30 seconds. I said a minute, 30 seconds, interchangeable values of time. And what we're going to do is we're just going to breathe together. Okay, guys, this is what I like to do. I want you guys to do it, get in the habit of doing it more. So take your left hand, put it out right by your head. Take your right hand, put it out right by your head. What you're going to do is close your eyes while I burp. I burped again. Close your eyes. Keep your eyes closed. I'm burping more. So I promise to God you're going to get to do this. Okay, now take a deep breath. And bring your hands up to the top. Hold it. Hold your breath. And then exhale and bring your hands as they're clasped down to your chest like this. Okay, one more time. In any way that you wanted to do that. I hope that that was relieving for you. It was for me. It's nice to breathe. Please breathe. If you like Corpse's music, let me know what you think. If you don't like it, let me know what you think. If you're interested in that playlist I was talking about earlier, let me know. And if you're interested in me reviewing other music or talking about other stuff, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for video ideas. I really find it exhilarating to spend time with you. You're really a very cool person to talk to. I enjoy it. That sounded creepy almost. I apologize. Let's just end here. Goodbye. Oh, by the way, if you like this video, feel free to donate with one of the links in the description. We have a Patreon and we have a Streamlabs one-time donation link because YouTube won't let me do a partner program because YouTube is mean. So if you want to donate and you have spare money, that would be really nice, but you don't have to. It would just be really cool. Okay, bye.